Irma. A UN spokesperson says the World Food Program is flying some 20 metric tons of high-energy biscuits, enough to feed nearly 17,000 people for 3 days. Much of the supplies destined for Antigua and St. Martin. The storm devastated large swaths of the Caribbean, destroying the economic livelihoods of thousands. It's left at least 37 dead there. Seattle's mayor has announced he is resigning. It comes after 5 men accused Mayor Ed Murray of child sex abuse. Paige Browning in member station KUOW has more.
Seattle Mayor Ed Murray maintains the allegations are not true, but in a statement he says it's important that his personal issues do not affect the city's ability to conduct the public's business. The sudden announcement came hours after the Seattle Times reported that a 5th man is accusing the mayor of sexual abuse. Murray's first cousin, once removed, alleges he was a teenager when he was molested by Murray. They both were living in New York. 4 other men have made similar allegations this year. By law, City Council President Bruce Harrell will become interim mayor. A mayoral election is already scheduled for November. For NPR News, I'm Paige Browning in Seattle.
The median income of U.S. households, that's the level at which half of respondents earned less and half earned more, now tops pre-recession levels. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the median income adjusted for inflation last year was up 3.2%. Previous year to just over $59,000. After 2 straight years of solid income gains, American households last year were essentially earning the same amount as they did in 1999. The median income peaked at just above $5,600. Stocks continued their upward momentum today. The Dow and the Nasdaq and the S&P all at record highs. The Dow closed up 61 points. You're to NPR.
This is 9WR. I'm David Kleski in Boston. New Hampshire General is confirming that the suspect in today's fatal shooting at the medical center is the son of the victim. Attorney General McDonald publicly identified the 2 earlier this May.
Travis, age 49, of Warwick, Rhode, was arrested for the first-degree murder of his mother, Pamela Fair.
McDonald says Fair was New Hampshire 7 shots fired. Police received reports of shots fired just before 1:37 while Team Cleveland Hospital by just after 6:30. Meanwhile, in Boston, police say a 19-year-old suffered life-threatening injury. 3 people are now in custody following a shooting incident this evening on Thomas. Police say it had 19 Tremont Street. Boston Jeremy Walsh and Commissioner Williams were both on the scene. Evans was recovered near the scene. He said he believed an argument happened before and was not going to act. Lebanon Pharmaceutical announced it is relocating headquarters from New Haven, Connecticut to Boston. The announced today that it's cut 20% its workforce. It will maintain a research and development center in New Haven, about 450 employees, focusing on drugs and rare diseases. And dozens of people turned out today for the scene of Hunger at the Rehabilitation Hospital in Boston. Film star Jim Hall and Boston Marathon bomber survivor Jeff Bowman and for Treason were both on hand for the U.S. premiere. It is in theaters later this month. In the forecast tonight, clear and cold temperatures in the 50s. Tomorrow, see high temps in the low 80s. It'll stay warm the rest of the work week. Cloud Thursday, high in the 70s. Friday, cloudy with a chance of showers in the low 70s. In sports, Red Sox leading the Athletics 11-1 with 2 runs, 6 runs back in the game. Red Sox are likely going to gain a game on the Yankees in the American League East. New York lost to Tampa Bay earlier 2-1. It's the top 2 they've won in a row. That's an American League record. This is
provided by listeners and by WBS reminding you it's never too late to start saving your child's future. Learn more at Advantage 20 Netflix account bit.com/fund. Fidelity Broker Services LC. Member SIPC Corporation. Working with visionaries on the front lines of social change to address inequality in all its forms. Learn at wordfoundation.org.
Boston Party. It's the day on MBTA's new general manager. He said a bit earlier that he agreed it can only be described as a typical ride experience at Heinz Convention Center.
This morning, the green truck and the fare machines weren't.
We've all been there. Well, Ramirez did take some questions on Boston Journal. Me and my colleague Kathleen McNeil here in the studio. Hello, Kathleen.
Hi, Megna.
So it's day 1.
Yeah, day 1. First, a really high-profile job, lots of scrutiny, and it's different in that fact in many respects. It's previous global power equipment. Saying that having the green light farebox not working leave home to him, the experiences they're having on a daily basis, which is why he said that one of his priorities for 6 months is that going to be extremely customer focused.
Working with making customers the center of what we're trying to do is really what I'm going to work on here. So it's very important for me to capture their voice and to drive me and what they need to hear for them to effectively job leader of the TA.
And as he said to last week and again today, that he's going to hire a senior customer executive to help him do just that.
This is really interesting because, yes, Luis Ramirez has said he's very going to focus on customer experience, but technically the MBTA already has customer experience group, and improving the rider experience has been a major goal of the Fiscal Management Control Board for a while. And in fact, just last December, TNT hired a chief customer experience officer, a job that sounds a lot
Very
the
similar.
idea that Luis Ramirez had, and that person did work at GS. So we asked him today, so how does his idea on focusing on customer experience differ from what's on place at the T?
Today's my first day. I don't know what was done before, but only that I hire a customer service person for staff, which I plan to do. I'm kind of doing that job myself.
Now, we should say that we spoke to Luis Ramirez, did this press conference around midday today, and afterwards, MassDOT got back to us and told us that the person who was in the customer experience office, that executive, is no longer with the person who hired in December 2016, that will be hiring someone who will work directly with him on customer service. The position job description will be written this week in consultation with Mr. Ramirez and other T officials.
Right. So the question that we'll be looking at is how that position does or does change and actually mean for civil sales. It still appears to be one of the core principles for Ramirez. He brought it up time and time again. In addition to riding the rails in the pines today, he says that the past few weeks visited a lot of the T facilities, and he said he's really a hands-on manager.
Out there quite a bit. Everyone gets excited. I'm the kind of guy who likes to walk the shop, and now I learn about the organization I'm going to be doing.
So he'll really be the public face of the T to both employers and customers, which really reminded me about the last publicly traded company, the Clark Group, Texas.
Right. Because as we were the first report here, I'm sure Luis Ramirez left that company in 2015. Global Power said that it found some major accounting errors in its books, and it ended up having to resubmit financial filings to the SEC for the years 2011 through 2014, and 3 of those years and Luis Ramirez was between 12 and 2015. Now those errors, some of them came before Ramirez's time at Global Power, for up to this part of the story, but they also continued throughout his tenure. And as a result, Luis Ramirez is still facing a lawsuit from shareholders of Global Power, and SEC is to investigate what exactly happened. So a lot of financial challenges at Luis Ramirez's former company, maybe even bankruptcy, which is interesting because today, once again, the MP's GM really defended his record as being a turnaround specialist and ended his time at Global Power.
Well, when you're doing a turnaround, it's not just about the numbers. It's also about creating systems and processes that actually identify issues and help to improve the process long term. So as I said before, I can't really comment on that of the going, but I will say that I stand behind my record and the growth and the things that we achieved as a result of all that we did while I was there.
We should say that the reason why he said it, because I had asked, he talked about Global Power's revenues had gone up while he was there, but if you look further down their balance sheet, their net income went way down, and their earnings per share for shareholders also went way down. But then about what no idea of Global Power, I asked him today, and here's what I asked. And just for clarity's sake, did you know about the accounting issues that were Global Power while you were CEO?
Not.
So it's a lawsuit and an SEC investigation, because Kathleen, as you were just saying, he talked about himself as really hands-on manager. So it's kind of different sides of this issue.
I think that's a big question that we're grappling with, and hopefully the SEC can get to the bottom of. Is that there's allegations in the lawsuit that he was very hands-on. So, and he's here today saying that he's that type of boots on the ground type of manager. So, the big question is, involved. How did you not know this is going on? Just the PD through, and I think those are questions we're hopefully going to find out in maybe the months ahead. Yeah, exactly. But then, he did talk about how he's bringing a lot of his, the totality of his private experience to the MBTA. Right. And I was struck by the type of language that he used, and the lens that he's bringing to the T. It's a sign of his experience at a lot of these companies. Here's just one example. When he was talking about this thing, we mentioned that things at Heinz were down, and here's
that really gets firsthand what are some of the experiences that customers are actually having, and what's so important that we bring their kind of experience into business. We set the metric for the team. We also drive. I'm going to deny that customer service and experience is important, but there's still this long-term question, and people, when he was first named, were concerned that he didn't have that much experience in public sector services and public sector goods. Yeah, and I think you hear about the business and the metrics, and maybe that is just what the T needs at this moment, is an outsider looking in, but also needs some depth of knowledge about transit systems as a whole. Well, he also talked about how he really wanted to address reliability issues at the T. I mean, this is all great for writers here. Underlying problems that the T wanted to bring, a lot of solutions or a lot of the T with speed. And here's how he said he might accomplish that. And innovation, technology, creativity, and those type of things are going to really play a role as I look at the long-term objectives of the MBTA.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really different language and focus than what we've heard from other GMs in the past.
But the governor did say he wants it around CEO.
Right. So in fact, it's not all that surprising. And you know, I think Governor prides on being and sort of focused on the inner workings of government.
Yeah. So Kathleen, we've been following this story for a long time. Yeah. And there's, obviously the T is a huge organization with a lot of problems. But as we were just saying a little earlier, one of the concerns is that this new GM, Luis Ramirez, doesn't have any experience in transit whatsoever. But as to whether or not he can turn it around, I mean, yesterday on the show we were talking about a private-led turnaround at Bridgewater State Hospital that's wildly successful right now. I mean, they're accomplishing great things there in just a course of 5 months. So I'm not sure it's necessarily like, can a private sector person pull this off? Because we're seeing that turnarounds can happen right at Bridgewater State.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big question and tension, is that it's possible, but I think people are worried because the public transit is such a different animal. And I think that a lot of people, somebody who really has the depth of knowledge experience, it's Ramirez's first day. Maybe he can get up to speed. Maybe he's a quick study. And I think we'll have to give him the benefit of the doubt, and we'll see starting when he goes to the Fiscal Management Control Board meeting.
Yeah. I mean, so at Bridgewater State, we have someone right there right now leading it who technically works for a private company, but she has like 20 years of experience in that field of services for so given to them by the legislature, and every important stakeholder came together and said, we got to fix this problem. At the T, there's always debate over or not they need more money. Stakeholders are often at each other's throats.
Yeah.
And again, Luis Ramirez never worked on transit, so he's got quite a mountain to climb in front of him.
Yeah, it's a tall order, and there's a lot of public scrutiny. So
we'll see. Our jobs, folks. Kathleen McNabb, Radio Boston producer, thank you so very much.
Thank you, Meghna.
All right, well, sitting quietly and patiently next to you, Kathleen, is the marvelous Evan Horowitz. He writes the quick study for the Boston Globe. He's with us there, Evan.
Hey, Meghna, how are you?
And you've also covered the Luis Ramirez story as well.
Which is why it's taken all my restraint not to jump in.
So jump in now.
Well, no, I just love the idea that sort of turning this around involves innovation, technology, and creativity. That's the kind of trio that gets you a failing grade at a business school. We need something more detailed than that, and I guess
we're waiting. Yes, I mean, again, he did say multiple times that this is his first. Mr. Ramirez said this is his first day in a sector he's never worked in.
I agree that it's not necessarily a private sector, public sector thing. It does happen. You get people with great lights in the private sector who turn out to be great lights in the public sector. Sometimes you get a Mike Bloomberg. Other times you get, and you don't know which is going to be. The question isn't so much a private sector, public sector cross, it's about competence and ability, and that's what we're waiting to see. And, I never met man. I did read through incredible, and I was disturbed.
Right, and then you're not dealing with a lot of people we've spoken to found what happened at Global Power troubling, and just you're writing something else, and I'm going to get that in a second, but also it just occurs to me that Luis Ramirez has another particular challenge. He's surrounded by at least 3 people who've had his job before, 2 on the Fiscal Management Board, Dan Grabowski, sort of set straight at commuter rail. He's a very Secretary of Transportation. Of course, Senator Baker has strong ideas of what he wants. So, 100 is easy for him.
No, I don't envy him that. And one of the reasons that the search has been so difficult to find the right person to take a job, a very high-profile job, where your autonomy and authority is limited by so many other bosses. But he's jumped for this job. So I think we should measure him on his ability to do it.
Okay, so let's switch here. If I use a mechanical over here, but really why we are dealing with this is that today writing about new U.S. Census numbers. This came out. National Household Income Poverty Rate Insurance. So is there news on this front?
There's mostly National Census Day. For those of you who know, it's a very big day for us. We'll wait for this one year. No, you probably hear about incomes all the time. Oh, they came out. But the census numbers are the definitive annual numbers, right? They come out this week, and they tell us how households in the middle did pretty well in 2016. Incomes for the median household about 3%. Last year, that was 2016, about 5%. That makes the 2015-2016 year the best 2-year search in terms of income since the. That's good news.
I'm hearing the sound of thousands of them back now. Okay, so the absolute numbers seem to show significant. People, I don't think, are feeling better off.
Well, there are a lot of reasons, and there are a lot of reasons not to feel better off. And there's some surprises in the numbers too. That household rate earnings aren't up. Well, wait, it's possible that individuals aren't earning more, but households getting money seems very strange. There's an explanation for it, which is that people in those households are working, and they're working long. So if you work more hours and anybody else in the family get a job, your household will money, but it's getting raised, which should also be happening if the economy is really wrong. It doesn't seem to be.
So what about when we down into factors like race, geography? Is everybody feeling the same sort of bump?
Same story, sort of good news, bad news. Good news is race breakdown. virtually every racial group saw an increase in median household income. Households led an increase of like 5.7%, gigantic increase. Hispanic households over 4%, but also white non-Hispanic households and Asian households. There's no racial differentiation. Geographically, though, there is. Better off in an urban core as to a rural area. That's a widening divide in America. Didn't seem to have turned around at all in 2016.
What gender?
So it was, for me, it's an interesting twist in it. The pay gap, which, the just focus of attention a long time now, shrunk. Women caught up a little bit.
Nobody see my race. I'm surprised.
Really? Yeah, except not great news. I mean, this is what we want, a path to pay equality. The reason they caught up isn't that women got paid a lot more in 2016 than they had in 2015. It's that men's pay went down. And in fact, this has been going for the last 10 years. The wage gap is closing because men are earning and women are just a little bit more.
Okay, that's definitely not good news overall then. Absolutely. No, go ahead.
No, I mean, hard to know exactly takeaway. The census numbers could be a lot worse than this. You could have poverty going, you could have household incomes. I mean, this happened in 2009, the economy is terrible. What we have now is mostly blue skies with some menacing clouds. I'd rather menacing clouds, but I'll take the blue skies for them.
So, but Evan, how does this actually pair? I mean, this is, you're looking at 2016, but you mentioned 2008 and the economic cataclysm that year represented. Are the household income, wages, etc., have they fully back 2008?
No.